This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Psalm 118. This is a psalm that I say to myself every morning as I'm finishing up my pre-sunrise walk. I've been doing this walk for over a decade now. It's my time just to kind of gather up my hopes and dreams, my fears and worries, and sort of walk with the Lord through them. And I have things that I need to share from inside of me, but then there's things I need to bring into the conversation from outside of me. And Psalm 118 is one of my favorites. I like to end the walk with these words. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. It reminds me of creation. The Bible talks about 6 days of God creating everything. And then in the story of Job, we hear this really fascinating thought that at the end of creation, the angels sang Amen. They sang praise to God. And why wouldn't you when you see all that God has created out of nothing and all that would take place, and God launches it by creating things. And the angels rejoiced. What I like about this verse, today is the day the Lord has created. It sort of brings me back to that sense of joy and wonder and optimism of understanding that God's involved, not just as all this stuff started, setting up the rules and structure and starting with the organisms, but today God is intimately engaged with. And I think the angels rejoice today also in this day. I like that thought. It's easy to have days just blur into each other, one day after another. It becomes a bit of a drudgery. It's easy to look back and say, oh man, I've got this stuff behind me. It's like this 100 long sack that I'm pulling along that's just wearing me out of my past. Or I've got the unknown of my future. But that all sort of falls away when we say, no, this is the day the Lord is engaging in and creating and using all of the Lord's creative powers with something exciting. Maybe we don't even know what it might be. But today is that day. And heaven rejoices. And I too should rejoice. Rather than looking at this day as one more day of drudgery from the past, or with fear of what might happen, to look forward to, I wonder what surprises, good surprises, that God has in mind. And to be open and to have my heart just ready for, wow, I wonder what God is going to do, because God's involved in this day. I invite you to take your life one day at a time, to live in this present moment, and to look for God with all of God's creative energies, to be involved in the day that God has placed you into. I wonder what's going to happen today. I wonder what exciting things that you and God are going to do. Don't be afraid. You have this marvelous, marvelous partner. This is the day the Lord has created for you. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Blessings, my friends, on the journey. We're all just walking each other home.